Okay, so after we've got our results list narrowed down, how do we know which one of these cases within this results list makes a good case that we want to use to support our argument? So I have three goals to keep in mind. One, you want the case to be relevant. You want it to have similar legal issues or facts to your fact pattern that you're working with, to your problem. Two, you want the case to have influence. So you want it to help you make your case. You want to be able to say, Your Honor, everyone else is following this case, or this is a big case for whatever reason, and we should use it and follow it in this case as well. It's got influence over our case. Thirdly, you want to make sure your case that you find holds current valid precedent. So you want to make sure it's still good law. Starting with relevance, we have our results list here, and the first thing you're probably going to notice are these different colors. So these different colors are Lexis's search term map. It just helps you visually see how your terms are mentioned in different ways within your case. And then the search term bar is going to show you how your terms are mentioned in relation to each other, and then also where they're mentioned in the case. What it lets us do is focus in on those cases that we know that we want to spend more time in. It saves us time from having to open up each case and review it that way. We can instead say, oh, it looks like there's a good cluster of our terms, say right here. And you can change that preview so that you can read what it says about this case. What you also will find is that there are going to be times where you have cases that are really giving a good discussion of a couple of your terms, but there's one term that's really key that you're not getting cases giving you a great discussion of. It's going to be mentioned at least once because otherwise it wouldn't show up in your results list, but you really want a way of quickly identifying those cases that give a good discussion of a particular term. So what you can do then is you can select Show Hide Term Highlights, and let's say we had cases that were giving us a good discussion of defamation and a lot of mention of senator or public official, but we're not finding a lot talking about press release. Well, let's just go ahead and turn off the colors for defamation and public official or senator, leave on press release and update. Our results list has not changed. There's still the same 44 cases in the same results list, same order, but we're now changing our focus. So now we can quickly see that it looks like press release mentioned a couple of times. We can quickly jump to it. Or we can see instances such as this one, where it looks like press release is mentioned once, just kind of in and off, and then not really discussed again. I'm going to turn these colors back on, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go into a case. And when I do, I see that the search term bar has followed us, and now it is showing every single instance of your terms. So you can again utilize the bar to just quickly jump there. You can also scroll horizontally. Another thing that I usually do kind of on my second read through a case, over on the right under About This Document, I always activate the legal issue trail. So I click on Activate Passages. And what that does is it puts purple boxes around all of the legal issues in this case that have been cited by other cases. Now you could scroll and just know that every time you got to a purple box, that's going to be another issue that's been cited by other cases. Or you can utilize this Navigate Legal Issue Trail up here at the top to quickly jump to all of the purple boxes. I'm going to go back to my results list again. And now we're going to be looking at the cases that are helping you make your case. So the ones that are the most influential. That's going to be the ones that other cases have cited back to. So you're going to see kind of a snippet of that over here on the Shepherd's card on the right. It's going to show you 639 cases have cited back to Hutchinson. We also have a tool available on Lexis that will show you in visual representation the connection between all of these cases, and that is Ravel View, and that's up here at the upper right. It looks kind of like a solar system. So what we see here is a graph of the top 75 results in our results list. So we had only 44 in our current list, so that's all 44 of the cases. But if you had 10,000 plus and you did the Ravel View, you'd only see the top 75. We have them displayed on a graph from oldest on the left to newest on the right, and also by jurisdiction for lowest court on the bottom to highest court on the top. So if we wanted to quickly identify the newest Supreme Court case on this issue, it would be this case right here. But we also see that the circles are different sizes. And so the larger the bubble, the more often the case has been cited. So we're talking about influence. Well, it looks like this case right here has been cited the most often. And when we hover over it, it's going to give us the case name. And we see that that's Hutchinson v. Proxmire, which was number one on our results list. So we found that one. But now what we would want to do is we'd want to make sure that we knew what all of these other bubbles that were connecting to Hutchinson were about, because it looks like we have a more recent Supreme Court case. So that most recent Supreme Court case we talked about is a case that cites back to Hutchinson. So we have this case right here. If I click on it, it's going to solidify it, and it's also going to bring it up to the top. So you're going to see that this other case that's more recent, also Supreme Court, citing back to the most influential, is number 13 in our results list. And studies show that people don't go past the first 10 results. You don't do it on Amazon, you don't do it on Google. If you don't see it right there on that main page, you get frustrated, you rework your search, and you start over. So this Ravel view is a way of just sort of double checking your research and making sure that you know what all of these top cases are. Because if Hutchinson is one of our top cases and we have a more recent Supreme Court case citing back to Hutchinson, this then becomes an influential case in our sphere of cases. So finally, when we're looking at our cases, say I wanted to really utilize this Bartnicki case, I could go ahead and I could open it up. And another thing that I need to look at then is this case valid precedent? Is this case still good law? And what I see right away is this yellow caution signal. And so if I hover over it, that's going to remind us that there's possible negative treatment indicated. This is a shepherd symbol. Now, I need to dig a little bit deeper because I don't know if this is something that I can use or not. Cases stand for a number of different issues, or a number of different legal rules can come out of a case. And if any one of those rules has been overruled or criticized, it will garner either a red stop sign or a yellow caution for the entire case. So you have to dig a little bit deeper and see what was someone giving a positive negative treatment to, which rule of law that came out of Bartnicki. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shepherdize this case over on the right. And then from within the Shepherd's report, I'm on the Citing Decisions tab. I see 233 cases have cited back to Bartnicki, but over on analysis, I can see that they cited to it for a number of different reasons. I'm going to ignore the positives and the just citeds for now, and I'm going to focus on these negatives because I want to see if I can still use this case. So now I have the 21 cases that gave it the caution. I may also want to narrow down by those that are in my jurisdiction that gave it the caution. And then from here, I see I have one. And you can see it does a couple of different things within it. So you're going to want to utilize the treatment indicators to say Knox distinguished Bartnicki in this paragraph at this page right here. So you're going to click on this paragraph. It's going to take you right into Knox where it distinguishes Bartnicki. That means it says that we recognize this is a rule of law, but it doesn't apply to our facts because our facts are different. So you're going to have to see, is it the rule of law that I want to use it for? Are my facts similar to Knox, or are they similar to Bartnicki? Then once I'm satisfied that I can use it to support my argument, I want to then kind of flip my hat. So I have a case that I love in Bartnicki. I saw at the initial thing that there were other cases that followed it. So maybe I can use those other cases that followed it to support my opinion as well. So I'm going to just get rid of our cautions. And we're still in the Ninth Circuit. And I have two that followed it within my jurisdiction. So I use these cases. We've got Price v. Turner. And I see that it followed it on page 1147. I click here. It's going to take me right to where it followed Bartnicki, the rule of law that came out of Price, and maybe I can use Price as sort of additional ammunition. So remember, your initial search is to figure out whether or not you're still citing good law. But once you've guaranteed or confirmed that, yes, this is a case that you can use to support your argument, flip your hat. Focus on the positive, because with one case, you can instantly expand your research to additional. It's like social media. Friends of your friends could be your friends. So those are our 3 goals, just to reiterate, of knowing when we found a good case. They're relevant, they're influential, and they also hold current valid precedent.